Good to have you along here on this Thursday. Braves a winner, 3 of 4 from the San Francisco Giants. We'll recap that, of course. Will, myself, and Ben Troop here on the show. Also, big announcement around college football. We'll talk about that. You got the NBA draft tonight. Hawks look to be active in the trade market. So we've got a whole lot of stuff we got to get to in about half the time today here on Three and Out. Again, you can be with us, ESPN Radio, all up and down the network, ESPNcoastal.com, and on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Give us a shout out on Twitter at Pigskin Radio, at Pigskin Radio. Love to have you be with us here on this Thursday. We got to get caught up here after this Braves game, but we'll come back. We'll jump right in it. Braves getting ready for those Dodgers playing really well. We'll hit that next. It's Three and Out on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back here on 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas and Ben Troop. Thanks for making us a part of your day. We are streaming live ESPNCoastal.com on your mobile device with the ESPN app and on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can follow us there as well. See us broadcasting live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Ben, the Braves, man, going out there and getting it done back-to-back days since we have talked to folks on the show here. Came back in the 9th inning last night. And then this afternoon jumped out early, kind of held on, but 3 of 4 from a good Giants team ahead of the LA Dodgers. This is a bunch that's playing really, really good.
Kevin, you got to appreciate the fight in these Braves. Going into this series, this is a team that's going to be right in the wild card hunt for this Braves team. They knew, getting 3 out of 4 against a very, very scrappy bunch. You kind of saw with the one loss they had that if the San Francisco Giants bats get hot, it's going to be hard to stop those guys, but not a lot of guys in the lineup. And today, a lot of guys getting like rest days and still was able to go out there and get it done. And I like how you said it, Kevin, kind of put some runs up early, kind of like stayed the course and got the win. But you'll take 3 out of 4 against a Giants team that going to be in the thick of things come the end of the season. I know this is unusual for the Braves right now, talking about being in the wild card hunt, but they are in the hunt. And they keeping pace with those Dodgers. They keeping pace. They get ready to play. They're keeping pace with those pesky Mets.
Yeah,
I'll take it, Kevin. 3 out of 4 anytime. I'll take it. Definitely against a very, very solid team like the Giants.
Yeah, 4 games behind the Mets. June 1, Ben, it was 10.5 games.
Wow.
And you got it down to 4. I mean, they have been playing tremendously well. I kind of thought, and again, we almost saw it today. I kind of thought we'd have a little comeback to reality a little bit against the Giants, but 3 out of 4. More than good enough to get it done. I want to see some of that same good baseball coming up, obviously, this weekend. Keep those bats rolling. I mean, again, Acuna didn't play today. Riley didn't play today. Adam Duvall did not play today. So you had 3 of your regulars sitting. You still put up 7 runs. And, again, the pitching kind of, they kind of let them crawl back in it a little bit. But you jumped out early and were able to go out and get a win without your A-plus lineup out there. I mean, I heard him talking pregame. Like, hey, look. This is the lineup. It's not your lineup, right? You're going out there. It's hot. It's, 100 degrees on the field. Give some guys a day off. Acuna's been playing a lot. Riley's been playing a lot. Let them hang out and sit this one out. So a good that it worked out for Sinton. You didn't have to play those guys today, and you continue to win. And I think that was one when I saw the lineup today. I was like, oh, they're kind of like, hey, it's hot. It is what it is. Whatever. Get some guys some at bats. If you win, you win. If you don't, you split the series. Nothing hurt. Probably in the grand scheme of things. But you take 3 out of 4, and to me, Ben, have a lot of momentum going into what is going to be maybe not the entirety of the series. Well, maybe it will be an emotional weekend with Freddie Freeman going to get his ring. Obviously, the anticipation of the reaction tomorrow night, how he's going to be received. I think it's going to be received well, but he gets his ring. First time we've seen Freddie in Atlanta. Sunday night, it's the national game of the week there on Sunday Night Baseball. So, could have a lot of emotion, a lot of hype going into this Dodgers series this weekend. Again, what a way to ride into that with some good momentum and playing some of the best stretch of baseball we've seen, I want to say, since 2000. Was it 2008, they said, or 2004, where this team went 21-5 in the month of June for the best stretch the Atlanta Braves have had in 1 month. They're 18-3. You still got a chance at getting close to that. Ben, if you have a good weekend against the Dodgers. So you're seeing a tremendous run of baseball here out of this Atlanta Braves team. And, man, I'm excited about this weekend with all the fanfare that's taking place. More importantly, can the Braves win the series? If they do, say what you want, Mets. Hey, they beat up on the week schedule and just did a run here on the Giants, 3 out of 4, and potentially, depending on how it goes, a couple of wins against the Dodgers. Can't fault that at all. And they have just annihilated that lead in the National League East.
The Braves are showing why they are one of the most dangerous teams in the bigs. They're showing why they're one of the most dangerous teams in the NL East. And the Mets, no lead is safe with a team like the Braves. And when they get hot, it's easy to say what they was able to do in June, Kevin, but that doesn't happen. I mean, outside of losing to the Cubs to that 15th game, to tie the longest win streak in franchise history, you can't even tell that. I mean, you telling somebody, man, they played 21 games. How many games they won out of 18? Then you start talking about guys that's really, really stepped up. You talk about Travis d'Arnaud and what he's meant. Dansby Swanson in the leadoff spot. No one wants that pressure because of who plays in it. You get back-to-back homers. I think it's 7th time in his career doing that. Dansby Swanson has been – you can't even remember the beginning of the season. That's how well Dansby Swanson has played. But a guy for me that just keeps on making strides is Michael Harris Jr. His plate appearances are getting better and better and better, and they're building confidence. And Kevin, obviously, the elephant in the room is going to be, Freddie Freeman. I don't know how it's going to be in Freddie Freeman. I know we got mixed. I know guys like Fred Owens are saying you shouldn't boo him. I think whatever emotion you're going to have, because sometimes you really invest. Look, can't always speak for the Hawks. Can't always speak for the Falcons. I don't know who you Atlanta United fans. We are united when it comes to those Braves. You've been a Braves fan for so long, and to get a player like Freddie Freeman, those players don't come around that long. To stay the course when the team was awful, put some young talent around him, give you an MVP, then he give you a World Series, but then he want his money. Kevin, certain guys you just expect them to be loyal to the team, but there was no loyalty. He's loyal to his wife, Mrs. Freeman. That's about it. But I think that it's going to be a roller. I think the biggest roller coaster is going to be game 1, because you're kind of getting all the jitters out. You're going to give him his ring and different things. But after that, like I said, Kevin, you boom. You're supposed to boo him. Look, he plays for the Dodgers, right? So both of those players are getting booed. I mean, Kingsley Jansen. I mean, he's going up against his old team. I mean, he's going to be out there. What type of emotions is he going to have? I think he got his 300 career save or something like that. So guys are doing great things. I like the momentum of the Braves. I like the way they playing. You telling me no Duvall, no Riley, no Acuna, and you still win? If that ain't the sign of a good team,
sure,
nothing is, because I can see letting 1, maybe 2 of those guys get a rest. 3 of them, Dansby gets 2. Now, so what happens when Acuna come back? Will they put him in the 2 spot? Because Dansby balling? Obviously,
yeah.
They're not Braves fans. Calm down. But I like the momentum of the Braves. I like the poise they playing with. I like the fact that now, Kevin, it used to be they can't get a series win. Now that they seem to be finding their rhythm. Hey man, win series, because the Mets know. Hey man, the Braves are getting momentum, before the All-Star break. Because we already know after the All-Star break, if you think baseball good now, it is going to turn up a notch. But shout out to those Braves handling their business, because everybody has something to say about they beat up on bad teams. Well, good teams beat up on bad teams.
Absolutely.
Mediocre teams, you don't know who's good or who's bad when they out there. Shout out to them Braves, man. 18 of the last 21. Hey, man, I'll take that any day of the week.
And Dansby Swanson, pay that man. Pay that man his money. Look, it is very interesting, Ben, and I find this unbelievable. Last year, it was, man, Austin Riley, I think he might need to go. Right? We need to trade him, get some value, and let's get a third baseman in here that can get it done. Anybody saying that now? Dansby Swanson. And I don't know why the fans have a love-hate with Dansby Swanson. I mean, but it is. Every time he goes to he's a streaky guy, and every time he goes into the slump, everybody's like, "Oh my God, Dansby, come on! Like we can't do this." And you got to get rid of him. Then he goes through a streak like this. Gold Glove shortstop. That's regardless of what he's doing at the plate, and he is absolutely annihilating stuff at the plate right now. All-star caliber shortstop. Tell me who you're going to get that's playing better than him. That ain't out there. It's not, again, find me a guy that's going to be a free agent that will play better than what Dansby Swanson is giving you. You ain't going to find him. Not going to find him. And so pay that man. If you ever seen that movie, Rounders, Ben, you ever seen that movie? Pay that man his money. That was a horrible impersonation. Pay that man.
Hey, Jerry Maguire showed me the money. But this is the thing too, though, Kevin. You're right. When it comes to Dansby Swanson, nobody has the fan base more up and down. You would think Dansby Swanson was a starting pitcher or a reliever. The way people are up and down. But that's the thing about Dansby. What Dansby lacks sometimes at the plate, he definitely makes up for with his glove. Dansby is about as nice. And I think Dansby has gone through the ring. And Dansby, look, man, I was the number 1 overall pick. I'm from the city of Atlanta. Pressure is on me all the time. But I've learned how to be I think a lot of things about in the bigs is being comfortable in your own skin, man. Understanding the type of player he's streaky. But when he's on,
when
Dansby's on, he's about as good. He's about as good as it gets. And last time I checked, Dansby is a part of the greatest, not best, the greatest infield in Braves history. And they sealed the deal by winning the World Series. And Kevin, we talked about this. We said, can he have an encore season? Austin Riley, so far so good. Dansby didn't start off good, but Dansby go, look, man, y'all know me. Come on, man. Y'all gonna judge me on the first 15 games of the season? Watch them stats at the end of the year and compare me to other guys in my position, both in the AL and the NL, and watch how I stack up.
Oh, he stacks up tremendously well, and people forget this because of all the Soler and all that. I mean, Dansby was big in the postseason last year at the plate, had some big home runs, some big plays. Look, I don't know why fans give him such a hard. I know he plays like an exciting position in the shortstop, and people expect a lot out of him. Right? He's the number 1 overall pick when he came out of Vanderbilt. Went to the Diamondbacks. Braves were able to get him in a trade, and hometown kid, number 1 overall pick. I get it. There is a lot of expectation on him. But Ben, if you look at Dansby Swanson for what he is, where are you going to go get a better shortstop? Where are you going to go get one? Again, if there's one better, he might already be under contract where he's at. You're playing Gold Glove caliber defense. You're hitting the baseball. He can hit for power. He can hit, when he gets rolling, and he's kind of been a slow starter, he can hit for average. He has, I hate this term, Ben. I know you have certain things that you hate. I hate the term he's clutch, because I think that's just, especially in baseball, sometimes it's just a matter of when the opportunity comes to you, because you could say, oh, you're the most clutch guy. Well, if you never come up in the 9th inning, well, then how are you going to know? But look, Dansby has a little clutch factor to him, even though I hate that term. I mean, look, he has the ability to rise to the moment. And I don't think you can underestimate that. Now, do you go give him the most money that's ever been given to shortstop in Major League Baseball? I'm not saying that, but sign that dude. You got to, again, do not let him walk. I think he's a piece you build around, much like Acuna. I think Michael Harris, look, you got a while before you got to deal with Michael Harris money-wise. You got Matt Olson lined up. Take care of it up the middle. Dansby Swanson, to me, should be your shortstop next 6-7 years. Easy, not even think about it. If you can make that work, and Alex Anthopoulos has been a wizard at making the numbers work. And if you keep winning and playing well, Liberty Media, as much as the fans like to rile on Liberty Media, Ben, Liberty Media is giving them more money to work with. They won a World Series. Liberty Media said, Alex, how much more do you need? We'll give you this much. Go make it work. Okay. I mean, you can't just sit back and say, Liberty Media is cheap. They're not. Liberty Media is looking at the bottom line, as every business does. They want return on investment. They're getting it. So why wouldn't they give you a little more money to keep that investment high? Right? It's not like Liberty Media is the Pirates, where they're like, hey, we're going to try to do this whole gig for like $40 million. Like, we're going to pay our whole roster what Max Scherzer's getting. They're not doing that. They gave Alex Anthopoulos more money. So Braves keep winning. I have no doubt we're going to give some cheese to make sure Dansby sticks around. Look, there's a number of guys you got to take care of. To me, Dansby Swanson along with Max Fried, those are 2 guys, not even a question. You take care of them. You got Ozzie on a long deal, Acuna on a long deal. I think they're both very club friendly. Matt Olson's taken care of. That leaves Austin Riley. Outside of that, you can piece around guys. And so far, Alex Anthopoulos has been a wizard with making the dollars work. So to me, Dansby Swanson, if I'm Alex Anthopoulos, I'm calling his agent right now and say, I know it's high. The value's high because he's hot. And just say, look, man, let's start it right now. Let's start it right now. What does Dansby want? I'm not saying we're going to give it to him, but what does he want? Where do negotiations start for you to make him stay here? Hometown kid? Will he give us a hometown deal to stay? Does he like Atlanta that much? But again, we're all in this thing, and you all learn. If I'm Alex Anthopoulos, you stick to your guns. But I think in the back of your mind, maybe Alex Anthopoulos is saying, okay, it worked out great for us. We got Matt Olson, but do you really want to let it play out the way it did with Freddie Freeman, with a guy like Dansby or somebody, the next contract you have to work, where it's like, we're going to wait. And now it's, game on. He can go anywhere, and we got to figure this thing out. I think he's a guy you got to lock up.
I agree too, Kevin. And the thing is, the thing about a guy like Dansby, as you mentioned, you start with, all right, what is he looking for? He ain't looking for Tatis money. Nobody is. He's not going to get that.
No,
but it's something you said, Kevin. Winning got to mean something. Coaching got to mean something. I want my money, but I also want to win games, man. Everything is better. When you're winning games, everything is more easy to deal with. It's better to come to work. It's better to go out there and practice. It's better to deal with the grind of, from spring to summer to fall. And I think a guy like Dansby Swanson he shows you like, look, man, we're going to give you a fair deal. You don't have to worry about that. But we also want to make sure, man, that we are always thinking about the future in the present. So we got you, we got Max Fried, right? Then 2 or 3 years go by like that in baseball. Here come Michael Harris. Here come Ronald Acuna. Here come the juniors out there in the outfield, both Harris and Acuna. But Kevin, the best teams keep their core together. Those are the best teams. They keep them together. And look, no one's saying that when people say, "Oh, when you hit the terms, a team friendly deal," you're still getting a bunch of money. You're getting a very, very good deal. Very, very good deal. I think the thing about Dansby is it coming up in the Braves system, only understanding when and having guys like Ozzie and now Matt Olson. You go from Max Fried to Matt Olson. You're talking about Ozzie. You're talking about Austin Riley, Acuna, Harris, Fried, Anderson, Duvall. I mean, I think you would think that you want to keep that together. I was with the Tennessee Titans. It was a good organization. Then I went with the Bucks. That was okay. Then I went to the Raiders. You want to be on a good franchise because it makes you a better player. Plus, Dansby can get. I'm not saying you get the money. You go to a team that stinks. Now you are the guy because you're the money guy. Ask Bryce Harper. I'm the money guy, so they expect me to just get it done. I'd rather be on a team to where I'm just one of the guys with the junior brothers out there in the outfield, and I got some great pitching. I think Alex Anthopoulos probably half start the negotiation because, like you say, Kevin, get him while I can afford him. Because you start talking about adding more all-stars, and hey, man, I think Dansby going to be a Brave for a long time, man. I mean, he's definitely a fan favorite because he has that love-hate relationship with the Braves fans. But when he is good, he is really, really good.
He certainly is. Hey, we got more to come here. It's 3 and Out. Big news around college football today. We'll get to that coming up. NBA draft tonight. Hawks are in the news with all kind of trade rumors out there trying to improve their ball club. We'll get to that. This is 3 and Out on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you along here. It is 3 and Out all across the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, thanks for making us a part of your day. We are streaming live, ESPNCoastal.com. Love to hear from you on Twitter at Pigskin Radio. And you can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube and see our smiling faces here on this Thursday afternoon with the Braves. Big win. A lot to get to coming up in what will be the final hour of the show. Big news in the college football world, Ben, that I know has got a lot of people talking. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. And of course, the NBA draft. Hawks could be dealers tonight. Maybe not with draft picks, but with players.
Well, Kevin, I hope that the Hawks are in the good trading sweepstakes because Collins, because Kevin, you got me sold on if it ain't the top 5. It really don't matter. You don't know most of these guys in the NBA draft, no way. But if they can put something together to be able to put a package deal together, I kind of like what the Hawks are doing. See what happens, Kevin? You go from not knowing how to draft, Rasheed Wallace, bring guys in like Rasheed Wallace and Carmelo Anthony. How long did that last? To you get a trade, you get a guy like you get Hunter. I mean, you get Herder and company, Bogdanovich and company. Hey, man, the Hawks trying to go for it because Trainer said, I don't want to go back to just being mediocre in a city like Atlanta, for which everybody seems to be winning except the Hawks and the Falcons at this point.
Yeah, I say we'll talk more about that coming up in the final hour. We have draft coverage for you coming up 7 o'clock tonight. Final hour around the corner, 3 and Out, Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Welcome back. It is 3 and Out here on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Kevin Thomas, he is Ben Troop. Glad you're making us a part of your day. A lot to get to here in the final hour of the program as we count you down towards the NBA draft coming up later tonight. As it comes your way, we'll have coverage starting at 7 p.m. Also, the Braves continue to roll as they get ready for Freddie Freeman and company to come rolling into Atlanta. That should be an exciting time this weekend in the ATL. But Ben, also big news in college football. The countdown is on to the start of the college football season, and everybody's been following, obviously, recruiting. What are these top quarterbacks going to do? And one young man with the last name of Manning made a decision today via Twitter. He has made one tweet, and it says the following: I'm committing to the University of Texas, and that will be Arch Manning. A lot of people talk about that. That was maybe down to Texas, Georgia, Bama. He goes to Texas. Ben, how surprising is that? Obviously, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's drama. There really has been no drama. The drama with Arch Manning has not come from the Manning camp. It came from the media. It's like, what's he going to do? He's the number one quarterback. His last name is Manning. He's got two uncles that played big time in the National Football League, won Super Bowls. One's in the Hall of Fame. The other one probably is going to be there before it's all said and done. And Arch Manning has said nothing until today when he made one tweet and said, I'm going to Texas. That's it. And he may not ever tweet again the whole rest of the time. But Ben, you talk about that decision and how big is that Arch Manning goes to Texas?
It's huge. It's huge, Kevin, because a lot of times too, right? We get caught up in the glitz and the glamour of these teams that be winning national championships, but you got to start asking yourself, when the last time the University of Georgia had a big-time quarterback get drafted in the first round? That would be Matthew Stafford. That was way back in 2012.
Well,
right?
Not Justin Fields. I know he went to somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. But Justin Fields will get more for what he did at Ohio State and then end up. But I think what happens is too, Kevin, I'm a big brand. I want to align myself with a bigger brand, and I want to be a part of a resurgence. You hear all this? We're back in Miami. We're back in, Texas. We're back in USC. Kevin, you talked about it. A guy like Arch Manning, he goes to Texas under the tutelage of Steve Sarkisian, who they're going to end up in 2 years from now, if not before. They're going to be in the SEC. Well, Arch Manning is saying, hey, man, my grandfather and my uncle already got a legacy at Ole Miss. My uncle already got a legacy at Tennessee. I want a legacy at a place like Texas to where, hey, we always call VY the legend. Now, that's easier said than done, but this comes down to boosters.
Sure.
Texas A&M, Texas boosters went to the man and said, look, man.
No, I don't think it's that, because he's going to get NIL. I don't think the boosters really care. Look, if I'm the Mannings, I don't think they really care about booster money, because they know, hey, the last name says Manning on the back. He'll be fine whether he gets, but he's going to get NIL. To me, Ben, it was, look at how the Mannings have done everything, right? When I'm not talking about just him, Peyton Manning played with David Cutcliffe at Tennessee. Obviously, he got away from Ole Miss, could form his own legacy, but got excellent coaching from David Cutcliffe, who they had a lot of respect for. Obviously, his pedigree speaks for itself. Eli played for David Cutcliffe, kind of the quarterback guru of the era, right? You look at Sark. And again, it doesn't guarantee you success, but Sark has worked with some great quarterbacks, right? Sarkisian, we were talking about it before the show. Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart, Mac Jones, Tua. These are guys, whether you like them or not, they're in the National Football League.
Yeah.
And I think for the Mannings, look at how they controlled the Eli in the draft. We're not going to San Diego. We don't really care for what you do in the front office. We're not going there. We want to play in New York. Why? Because it's big time, right? I'm in New York. I can go there and I can play, and I think the Manning brand is what it is. And I think from their standpoint, Cooper, Archie, whoever had their hand in it, said, look, where's he going to go where he's going to get quality quarterback coaching and prepare him to play at the next level? And I think, again, not that Georgia can't do that, but like you said, you look at the coaching in place and kind of what they've done with quarterbacks, and you look at Steve Sarkisian, you could say, well, what has Steve Sarkisian done as far as head coach national championships? I don't think it is about that. I think it's about development and get him to the National Football League. Now, it will be interesting, Ben, because you got Quinn Ewers there, who's going to be a redshirt freshman at Texas. He'll be a sophomore when Manning shows up. How does that relationship work necessarily with how you want to get on the field? And I think, as you said, the third dynamic of this whole thing is, well, why wouldn't you go play in the SEC? You know, all the Mannings, Archie, Eli, they all played in the SEC. By the time, if it works out this way, the third year of Arch Manning could be a redshirt sophomore year, but the third year of Arch Manning, as you said, Ben, if not sooner, Texas will be in the SEC. Mm-hmm. So you will get the opportunity to, at least for now, get coached up by Steve Sarkisian from a quarterbacking standpoint, and you'll still get the SEC at some point during the college career, which if it goes well, you're going into the National Football League. Like that, I think, again, most people look at it right now and say, I want to win championships. I want to get NIL at the new age. I want to get some NIL money if I can do it, this and that. I think the Manning's like, that's nice. How can we get prepared for the National Football League? Because that is the Manning legacy, right? We go, we play in college, we get to the next level, and we excel. We're ready to go there. And so is he going to be Peyton and Eli? That's a heck of a lot of pressure, Ben. A heck of a lot of pressure because you play quarterback, your last name's Manning, and right now people are saying you're the number one, pocket passer coming out of high school this next recruiting cycle. I can't even imagine. But, as you said, opportunity to go build the brand and prepare himself for the National Football League. Can he beat out Quinn Ewers? That's going to be interesting. Certainly going to be an interesting battle to watch and how that all plays out there at Texas, because you got two absolute big-timers who both expect to be on the field at some point, even though obviously one can play.
Arch Manning was going to be in this situation, Kevin, NIL or not. This NIL era just makes things much bigger. It makes you pay more attention to guys like an Arch Manning. This is going to be a big deal, no matter if this NIL or not, era or not. But you make a great point when you talk about the Manning brand. They always on brand. You look at Monday Night Football, they go Eli and Peyton. You look at them during their NFL career, they're always doing stuff together. But they were good. Is Eli the player Peyton was? No. Do Eli have regular season MVPs? No. They got 4 Super Bowls between them. Eli only played in 2. Peyton Manning played in 3. They got 4 together. You talk about a guy like Arch Manning, he's going to a place like Texas. Why? That is a huge brand. And he has leverage. It's called name and image leverage. No one has more leverage than the Mannings. No one is more recognizable away from football than the Mannings. Eli and Peyton, they got a name and they got names and faces and reputations that resonate. So now you got the Mannings on campus. They go Peyton Manning on the sideline. They go Eli Manning, Arch Manning they go Archie Manning on the sideline because they go his grandson. You don't think that's bringing notoriety to a team like Texas, who they don't lack the stars or whatever shining bright. They lack star power. They got a big time running back, which they're gonna recruit. They're gonna recruit in the great state of Texas, right? But Kevin, like you started saying, a lot of people don't understand. If you ain't got leverage, and you start talking about, where you want to go and how you want to go, most of these players, we ain't gonna know where they're gonna end up at.
Sure.
I mean, but Arch Manning, though, what he did was he took his time. I'm gonna go to Alabama. I'm gonna go to Georgia. I'm gonna go to Clemson and Ohio State. But when he went to Texas and he really sat down and Texas started saying, hey man, when you really start thinking about it, what can boost your brand bigger than anything else? It ain't Alabama, because we've already seen it with Bryce Young and Daniel Jones. Can't be at Georgia because they just won a national championship. Can't be with Ohio State. Can't be with Clemson. What about Texas? Oh, my God. And then they start going through the tradition.
Sure.
Then they start showing. So, Kevin, I get it. I knew. I said, the only thing I said, when people talking about where they're going to go, I said, look, if it come down to Alabama and Georgia, okay, that's a toss-up. Once they stuck Texas in there, I said, y'all better be careful. Because Texas, we talking about those second-tier brands, Kevin. Oh, they're top 10 when you're talking about brand equity, like brand recognition. Oh, you know about them Burn Orange boys down in Austin. But the product on the field just ain't been there. You get a guy like Arch to come in there, and you got Quinn Ewers, as you mentioned. You got the two number one pocket passes the last 3 years in college football. We'll see what happens, man. Arch Manning, he got his uncles. They are his brand representation.
Sure.
We know what's gonna be best for him. Hey man, he got an agent. Yes, his name is Peyton. Do he got a manager? Yeah, his name is Eli. Okay, well, who was NIL do? That would be Archie.
No, I think as long as he plays at Texas, and I mean, he's going to get an opportunity somewhere.
Yeah.
And again, Quinn Ewers, who knows? I mean, he's also a big timer. but there's going to be a lot of pressure to play Arch Manning at some point there at Texas, more than 1 year.
It sound like good problems to have to me though, Kevin, because you think about some of these teams that can't get a quarterback.
Sure.
Texas is saying, "Hey man, we stockpile," and you don't believe it works. Sarkisian goes, "Well, I was in the quarterback meeting room when they had Hurts, and they had Tua, and they had Jay, and they had Daniel Jones. Now they got Bryce Young. I know what works."
Yeah,
and
no,
Kevin,
I get it.
You know the one thing I could be wrong. I'm gonna have to go back in the history books. I don't know if Texas has ever had a Heisman Trophy winner. I could be wrong. I'm gonna have to check. But they trying to get a Heisman Trophy winner recent.
Did Ricky Williams win it?
Huh?
Did Ricky Williams win it?
Ricky Williams won it, but he played running back. Now I'm talking about a quarterback. Quarterback. And once again, this is about when you start talking about the Mannings move like a LeBron James. No. Everything we do is all about positioning for something down the road.
Sure.
So we want to go with a brand. What's the biggest brand in the state of Texas? Oh, that's UT. What? Boom.
Like they'll be in the SEC, yeah.
And like you say, and Kevin, oh my God, when they do go to the SEC, guaranteed the Mannings will be at SEC Media Days talking about, welcome Texas and Oklahoma.
But, and again, I think this is interesting. And in this day and age, with kind of notoriety that it has, because I know there's a lot of people that I saw at Georgia like, oh, good, it's going to be. Does this have the potential to be a bigger circus than Tim Tebow at Florida? When he went to Florida, it was like, oh, Tim Tebow, and he kind of burst on the scene. It was all Tim, and it was like Tebow mania. I was like, does this have a potential to be a circus with Arch Manning? Not caused by him necessarily. I mean, Tebow didn't. I mean, on some levels, I think later in his career, maybe he did. But certainly when he first got there, I don't think Tebow invited the circus upon himself. And I don't know that Arch Manning, but dude, you play quarterback and your last name is Manning. Like, how big a circus do you think that's going to be once he's in college and playing for a team like Texas? And who knows if there's some kind of last year buyout that they're willing to eat and they go to the SEC a year earlier and he gets multiple seasons potentially in the SEC. I mean, how big a circus do you think this thing could be around, this kid playing college football?
I think it's going to be incredible. I mean, you listen, what Peyton Manning, not Peyton Manning, Terrell Owens say, get your popcorn ready. Get your funnel cakes ready. Everything is bigger in Texas. Now you got the guy. Like, think about this. Recruiting has become, can we get the guy that everybody wants? That's what recruiting is. And I'm talking about the quarterback. Got him. We got him twice. We took one of them from freaking Ohio State. He finessed Ohio State. Now we got Arch Manning. I think the thing is, Kevin, you're right. But if it is a circus, it's still all eyes on Texas. Everybody's watching Texas. And this thing, he don't got to be the best player. He just can't be the worst. All he got to do is stay right here. He don't got to peak, because it's the thing, Kevin, he's already coming out with the hype, with the name, with the brand equity. Now he's going to Texas. Sarkisian going to be like, hey, man, this might be my shot. So yours going to show you what potentially can be done, but we ain't even talked about the caliber of player that Arch Manning can pull with him. Receivers, tight ends, and run. That's what you're gonna have to watch, because he's gonna be getting. Look at those rankings when the running back Bijan Johnson, that's already he gonna help pull another running back. What type of receivers are he gonna put in? What type of tight ends? What type of O-line? Because you get a nice offense, because you know they're gonna sling it. It's dare I say, because Kevin, like I said, do anybody expect them to actually make a bunch of noise when they come to the SEC? Nope. They just expect them to ruffle some feathers. Arch Manning, he can really do no wrong. But like I said, I just think that he made the best move, and he said, look, man, I want to go somewhere to where I'm the man. I don't want Georgia got this team.
Is he going to be the man, though? He's got another 5-star number one quarterback sitting ahead of him.
I will say this. Yours thought that everything was going to be sweet with him coming over from Ohio State, but he didn't pick them first. They got him out the transfer portal, which makes sense. Arch chose Texas. See, that's different, because they're like, hey, man, you was just before you get comfortable, we got this kid behind you now.
And there's going to be a lot of pressure for
listen, Kevin, if you are a Texas fan, it's going to be a lot of fun, too, because the thing about it is Texas hasn't been relevant for a long time. Texas lost Kansas.
Not since your guy Vince Young was out there. That's
sure. And that was in 2006.
That was a long time ago, as you said. But hey, with the move to the SEC, interesting. Obviously, Georgia's quarterback room Ben, I know a lot of people say, well, now they haven't got a quarterback this class. I actually think this is okay. If you're Georgia, you have Brock Vandagriff, you have Gunnar Stockton sitting in there. You still have, why did I just forget the young man who's going to be the backup right now from Jacksonville, still sitting there.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
you get a little why his name just escaped me in this heat of the moment. Carson Beck,
Yeah.
and then you have now you get a little class separation here for another quarterback, not necessarily coming in. So you have a little room to have a guy sit, not be like, well, I'm never going to play. I think this might be okay for Georgia if they missed out on Arch Manning, and now you have a little time for that quarterback room to work itself out. Because what's been the biggest problem, not outside of winning on the field, but what's been the biggest problem with Georgia and their quarterbacks? Hey, can't but one of us play, and we're getting log jammed, and who wants to go out and transfer, right? I mean, you had it this year, and there's a lot of folks that were surprised Carson Beck didn't transfer right at the end of the day. So you could have lost two quarterbacks. They all stayed. You have a very deep quarterback room. I think in Georgia's case, this kind of cleans some things up a little bit in that quarterback room. You'll get a little class separation. So Gunnar Stockton would either be a redshirt freshman or a sophomore, and then you have another guy coming in behind him. I think that's okay for Georgia. Look, does anybody know how Arch Manning's going to do in college? No, we don't. But the odds are he's going to be pretty good because, as you said, Ben, the Mannings have a plan. They're going to work that plan, and he's going to wind up in the National Football League. They know how to do it. They've done it 3 times before and got there into the National Football League. We'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later. It is 3 and Out. Hit us up on Twitter at Pigskin Radio. 3 and Out on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back here on 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, glad you're making us a part of your day. We're streaming live at ESPNCoastal.com and on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, as well as the radio network. Good to have you along. Braves a winner today. They got the Dodgers rolling into town coming up this weekend. And Ben, obviously a lot of folks going to be excited about that series coming up this weekend.
I'm looking forward to it, Kevin. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, however you choose to welcome back Freddie Freeman, that's your right. Certain people going to boo him, certain people going to cheer him. You are not wrong either way, because no matter what, he picked the Dodger blue over the Braves blue, sure. And we got to show him, hey man, listen. Sometimes booing is a new form of flattery, man. You don't got to like it, Freddie Freeman. We just hope we walk away with the dub, even though he gonna walk away with the ring for which he won last year.
Yeah, we were talking about Arch Manning last segment. AC is on the line, wants to talk about Arch Manning. AC, what's up?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking my call. You know, I listened to everything you guys said a while ago about Arch Manning, but the question is this the right decision? Last time it was relevant was 2009, not 2006. Because my relevancy, I mean, they did go to national championship and they lost to Alabama in 2009. So they were relevant in 2009, not 2006. But ever since, Texas has been going down the hill. I don't know if that's the right decision. I know the brand name of Manning plays a factor, but I don't know, man. I don't know if this guy's going to be a first-round draft pick with that name. But, you know, I was listening to that YouTube channel you guys have last. I was listening to the recording. I got some laugh out of it. A guy named called me out, but the problem is, here's something he never discussed. He is a Feinbaum caller just like me. Sure, I called out everybody on Feinbaum's show, including Ahmed. He came to your station to call me out. Concussion, man. I'm over there, man. I'm here.
Hey, we're the side lot, I guess, for people to voice their displeasure. I don't know. But hey, AC, I appreciate it, man. I understand what you're saying about Arch. My whole thing is, I think you can say, well, Texas hasn't been relevant. I mean, that's the whole point, right? If you're talking about growing legacy, Texas would be a place to go. Hey, brought us back on the map. I also think behind the scenes, quietly, they like Steve Sarkisian and his coaching. Right? I mean, everywhere the Mannings have been, it's been top-notch quarterback coaching. Right? They all played for David Cutcliffe. They do the Manning passing camp where David Cutcliffe and all these guys, best quarterbacks around the country, come in and help out. They're about quarterback play. And I'm not going to say it was the end-all be-all, but knowing how the Mannings do things, Ben, look at Georgia and say, would he get the quarterback development there that he would under Steve Sarkisian? And again, that's not meant as a disrespect to Georgia. They've had great play. They just won with Stetson Bennett. My point is, if you're the Mannings look at this differently than probably most people, right? They're looking at it as in-game NFL. That's what they do. Is there legacy involved? Sure. Texas is a good place to go and do that. You're going to be in the SEC. I think it came down to, at the end of the day, Steve Sarkisian, his ability to develop a quarterback and get you to the next level. That's me. I could be wrong. And again, this is no offense to Alabama either, Ben. But it's been rotating door at offensive coordinator at Alabama. Again, not Alabama's fault, but you go for stability, you go for development. Steve Sarkisian has coached several quarterbacks that have wound up in the National Football League. A lot of that starts to add up. And you throw in kind of potential legacy, and you bring back the Horns brand, and you are going to play in the SEC if you're Arch Manning, and so you're going to have an SEC element to it as well. To me, when you break it down from that standpoint and not from a fan standpoint of, well, why would you go to Texas if you want to win ball games? It ain't about winning ball games. I mean, that's going to happen, I think. But from their standpoint, it's about where do we go to get ready to go in the draft? Because I'm sorry, you're Manning. He's going to get NIL.
Yes.
This is no disrespect. He could have gone to Louisiana, stayed at home, played for the Raging Cajuns, and he would have gotten plenty of NIL money.
Yes.
Like it doesn't matter where he goes. He could walk around doing commercials with his uncles all day long. It doesn't matter, right? He could have gone anywhere if it was just about the NIL. That's irrelevant to him. It's not irrelevant to everybody else, but to him, it probably is irrelevant because it doesn't matter. Pick a school, he goes there. The NIL money probably doesn't change a whole lot because there are companies that want the Manning name, and you're the newest one, and you compare it. So look, that part's irrelevant. I think, from my standpoint, Ben, it's Steve Sarkisian, development, play, brand name program, going to be in the SEC, so you have that as well, and get me to the National Football League. I really think if you take the long view of it, that's what it comes down to because, again, he's going to play wherever he goes. His last name is Manning. He's going to be given a shot to not let it work out, right? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, no matter where he goes, he's going to be that guy where there could be 5 NFL quarterbacks on a college roster. He's going to play. Yeah. So like that to me is kind of irrelevant. And I think maybe end of the day, you go where you got a proven track record with some quarterbacks, and Steve Sarkisian certainly, whether you like him or not, he certainly has a proven track record with quarterbacks.
And Kevin, and take a step further, he's got a proven track record with brands. He was at SC, right? He was at Alabama. He was with the Falcons. Now he's with Texas. And the thing about it is you make a strong point. We're talking about Georgia. Brock Vandagriff, you talk about Carson Beck. You talk about different guys coming in, and the guy that's playing was a walk-on. So if Arch Manning going, wait, whoa. So the guys y'all recruited can't beat out the guy who, and mind you, Stetson Bennett is the best of the bunch. I'm not saying that. Then you start talking about Alabama. He's saying, well, look, man, from what I see with Alabama, man, okay, they got a Bryce Young. They probably got another guy in the wings who got just as much, if not better talent than him. All right. Then you start talking about a Clemson.
But you also have the rotating offensive coordinator all the time. So,
but then he goes, when you think about Texas, he goes, look, man, my uncle Peyton, he took quarterback to another level at Tennessee. They haven't been able to replace him since. Now, I get you got Vince Young, the great VY. I get that. And Colt McCoy, I get that. But I get to go to a place like Texas to where we run the state. The whole state of Texas, no brand, even the Cowboys, are not bigger than UT. So I think, and you make a good point too, Kevin, when you're talking about the fact that nobody moves like a Manning. Everything I do, man, is calculated. We behind the scenes talking about what's best for my brand moving forward. We talking about the 2004 the draft that I was a part of, Eli Manning, who Archie Manning said he's not playing for the Chargers. And then gonna step back and say, I don't really want nothing to do with it. Well, you just told us he's not playing for him. But then you talk about legacies. Last time I checked, there's only one family that had 2 number 1 overall picks. That would be Eli and Peyton. Last time I checked, there's only one family, that is the royal family in football, and that's the Mannings. And for everybody thinking, who got more pressure on them, Eli and Peyton or Arch? Of course it's Arch. This dude is the number 1 recruit in the country at quarterback. It's not like it ain't other players around. So he goes, hey, man, let me make sure I attach myself to a brand that used to be a big-time brand, and I'm going to help it really come back. Because, Kevin, if he gets Texas to anything relevant, like a Big 12 championship or dare I say, oh, God, they go to the SEC and they even competing, what is that? Because all he got to do is not fall off. Because like he said, he come from prestige. He come from money. That ain't he want to go somewhere to say, he said, look, man, I want to be better than my uncles. I want y'all to talk about me at Texas like y'all talk about my uncle at Tennessee, like I talk about my grandfather and my uncle at Ole Miss. And so he's chasing something different, but you are right. He's going to get the NIL money. Hell, he's getting money from his family. I mean, they can give him a deal, but I do think that he really thought about, hey, man, Georgia's cool, but the brand Georgia is going to be bigger than me. Alabama, cool. But the brand, I go to Texas. And
again, I'm still not discounting the fact that Texas has Steve Sarkisian.
Yes.
And there's at least a lineage of quarterback development there. And again, you don't have to like Steve Sarkisian. But, I mean, you look at what they did. And again, I'm just looking at the track record. Followed David Cutcliffe around, David Cutcliffe puts dudes in the National Football League, and he knows
Daniel Jones out of Duke, first round.
Well, I'm saying David Cutcliffe put 3 straight guys from Duke in the league at quarterback. How do you do that? So I think there's a track record there, obviously, with David Cutcliffe. Steve Sarkisian, known for being a quarterback guy, right? I know he's the head coach, but I honestly think that's part of the reason. Is you say brand, I say I'm saying they're attaching themselves to a coach who they believe can develop him. Steve Sarkisian's been around. He knows what NFL locker rooms are like. I think they're attaching to a guy who they know can develop their quarterback, this case Arch Manning, to be an NFL quarterback. And that doesn't necessarily mean winning. Although, again, if he's as good as people want to believe he's going to be, I think they're going to win. I mean, we've seen it year in, year out, Ben. You have good quarterback play, you're going to win. And as you said, people say, well, Stetson was a walk-on at Georgia. No, Stetson was a good quarterback.
He really was.
I mean, he may not have been the best arm talent in the country, but he was a good quarterback. You didn't have to worry about what was happening out there a lot of weeks. And look, I think that's more of it than anything else. Texas is a nice place to land, and you're going to play the SEC, and you have a guy who has a pedigree of putting dudes in the league at quarterback. The end. You don't have that.
And it also helps the fact that too he coached Matty Ice. Like that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff help. And look, I helped win a natty at Alabama. So who did you coach? I went from Tua to Daniel Jones.
And I know,
okay. I mean,
the Super Bowl, but
Matt Jones.
Best years.
Kevin, when the one thing that Steve Sarkisian understands is this: if I got a track record, if I got a proven track record coaching quarterbacks, and I'm attached to a big brand, and you start looking at my track record, you start seeing SC interim. I went from the interim offensive coordinator for Alabama to being the offensive coordinator at Alabama. I leave Alabama and go to Texas. I left Atlanta to go to Alabama. So people can say whatever they want about Sark. Sark is a highly sought after coach. Everybody can't coach for Texas. Everybody can't be the OC. He replaced Kyle Shanahan as the OC in Atlanta. So say what you want about Sark. Sark can coach, man. He wants the pressure too. So when you start talking about the biggest brand, if you're talking about the biggest brands in college football, Texas is in the top 10. Biggest brands? Texas
might be top 5. I mean,
probably. And I think too, Kevin, when you're talking about a guy like Arch Manning, he goes, look, man, I know y'all don't like this, but I can't just do anything. What I have to do have to make sense to me and the onlookers. Oh, okay, I get the Texas thing. because the whole thing about it is my legacy is attached to those that came before me. No matter what I do, they're gonna mention my uncles and my grandfather. No matter what I do. But if I win a national championship, that is something neither one of my uncles did or my grandfather. See, that's what people like. If he does that, or forget winning one, if I even play in one, my uncles didn't do that. I mean, so I just think that Arch Manning is saying, look, man, he knows. Kevin, we talking about when is he going to play? All he needs is a year to show it. I don't need 2 or 3. Give me a year or 2 to show what I can do. He's going to the next level because that pedigree, somebody go 32 teams. Oh, somebody gonna snatch him.
Absolutely.
Somebody gonna snatch him up.
We got more to come here. It's 3 and Out on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Great to be back here, 3 and Out on this Thursday. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop. Draft coming up later tonight, Ben, as the Hawks have the 16th and the 44th pick, but a lot of talk that they will be active in the trade game potentially. And we talked about rumors for a trade for DeAndre Ayton. Now talks today that maybe the Hawks are talking to the Spurs to swap John Collins for Dejounte Murray, who 21, 8, 9, and 2 steals. Pretty good numbers. It would appear that even if that's not true, John Collins is not going to be a Hawk much longer, just with all the smoke of every rumor is John Collins to this team, John Collins to that team, John Collins and for somebody else in return. This would be a little different. You'd be getting kind of a 2-guard here to go with Trey, but most triple doubles ever by a Spur, then? I mean, this is a guy that can play, obviously.
I mean, that's very, very unique company, man. When you think about everybody that's came through that Spurs organization to know that he got the most triple doubles in Spurs history, I mean, that means he's a baller. And at the end of the day, Collins, I think the contract is just too big, Kevin, and the production ain't matching the contract. I mean, a guy like DeJounte Murray, if he comes in, I think he'll be a really, really – because that's what the draft is about. It's about using the draft picks to be able to get players that can help contribute right now. If you're going to – I mean, I ain't even worrying about really the second-round pick. You can get that 60th overall pick, and you can, like, put in a package deal for a guy like Collins. So be it, because like I said, people want to play with Trey. And listen, I saw DeJounte Murray. I kind of saw him with the eyes emojis when he was talking about the house. So he kind of want to come on over to the ATL, shout, yeah, Trey went to bed last night, kind of discouraged. And then he woke up like, is it really gonna happen, man? Y'all, because y'all been don't get me all excited. Because Kevin, once again, they underachieved in 2021. I get it. But 2022, man, I think they got a chance.
2022, they underachieved. Well,
yeah, 2022. I'm sorry, 2022. They got a chance to really.
Like, they're in the NBA conference.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 2022. But I do think this Hawks team, Kevin, you don't want to waste Trey Young's talent. You don't want to waste it.
No,
got a lot of young guys around him. Bogdanovich and company, Herder and company. I mean, you got some guys, Hunter and different guys, but you get a guy like Murray to come in with a guy like Trey. Instant offense, a Mr. Triple-Double in Atlanta, I think it could be a match made in heaven. Still, listen, DeAndre Ayton, listen, I don't know if your agent listening. We still need a big man. Come on over, man. Hey, listen, I know you out there in Scottsdale or whatever, you're Phoenix. Atlanta, man, listen, man, you play inside. Don't let the heat get to you. Walk to your car, get in it, drive to the arena, and let's get these buckets.
Yeah, I mean, they could be, like you said, with a couple of timely trades, they could be a whole lot better very quickly. I don't know if I expect the Hawks to make a draft pick here. I mean, if they make a trade, it might involve giving up a draft pick, which, again, I don't know how much value you have. You have the 16th and the 44th pick. I mean, maybe you find a player, maybe you don't. I mean, I know everybody's like, oh, yeah, you could definitely find players. Yeah, you can. Kawhi Leonard was one of those down in the draft. Like, I get it. There are guys out there. But, again, the hit rate on those guys, sometimes you get journeyman players. Sometimes you luck out and get a star. Most of the time, your big-time players are in that lottery, and the Hawks are not there. So you got to trade for somebody to get your team better. And, again, I don't even know if we'll pay attention to who they draft in the second round. It might just be like, well, that guy's not going to play. I mean, that's just kind of how it is in the NBA. So, look, I don't know if the Hawks make a pick, if they bundle, say, hey, if you get a guy that you think can really throw you up there where, hey, you can contend to be a top 2 or 3 seed in the East, get rid of both your picks. Who cares? Right? I mean, seriously. Right? I mean, this is not like the NFL where, draft picks are gold and everybody's like, oh, we got to have, every single high pick we can get. I mean, if you're not in the lottery, dump them if you have a good team, right? If you have a good team, dump those things and try to get some value that can come in quickly onto your basketball team and play.
And Kevin, that's what you hope. That's what you hope the Hawks do. The Hawks are in the window right now. You talk about the East that's very, very competitive, led by the Milwaukee Bucks. Regardless of if they made it to the finals or not, you see what the Celtics are doing. You see what the Heat are doing. You see what Chicago is trying to. They're trying to. Because I think that Zach LaVine. I don't know if he's going to be a Chicago Bull when this thing is all said and done. But at the end of the day, I worry about the piece up A-Town down Hawks. I could care less about what everybody else is doing. You got to be able to compete in the East. Get you a big man. Listen, Mr. Murray, come on through, man. I mean, listen, don't be afraid of the ATL, man. We care about our basketball in the state of Georgia. Don't let the University of Georgia make you think otherwise, man. Don't be looking at that over there. They care about it, you know. And Kevin, like you said, the 16th overall pick outside of his family, ain't nobody watching the draft that long. Let's just call it what it is. You're not watching the draft past pick like 7 or 8. 16, it's gonna be some dude, you know, from Italy that's 7'2" with a nice wet jumper. That's what it's gonna be.
Who may not play right away. He might end up in the G League.
Yeah. He's 7'2".
I'm just saying that only for a team like the Hawks where you feel like you're close. Like you're not drafting guys for development anymore. You're drafting guys to help you win now. I think that's the two phases you're in the NBA, right? You when you're the Hawks a couple of years ago, it's like, hey, we can go get the Herders and the DeAndre Hunters. Why? Because we're drafting to be good a couple of years from now. You're in a window with Trey, like you said. You got to be good now. You're not worried about who you're drafting at 44 to come in and help the team. You're just not. Not going to worry about that. We got more to come. We'll get you ready to hand you off the draft coming up later tonight. We'll have coverage starting at 7 o'clock. And also, Freddie Freeman going to be in the ATL tomorrow night. Big day in Atlanta. We'll get to that next. It's 3 and Out, Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back. Here it is, 3 and Out on this Thursday. Braves winner today. They beat the Giants 3-4, 3 of 4, in that series. And then the Giants are out, and the Dodgers come to town, Ben Troop, and what's going to be an amazing weekend. Freddie Free comes in. Braves playing well. A chance to continue to gain ground on the Mets. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun, Kevin. And the reason why it's going to be a lot of fun because the Braves are handling their business right now with everything you forecast. In June, you and Gordon Vida. I mean, y'all was calling. I mean, he was talking about Michael Harris. But I will say this. Listen, Freddie Freeman, look, appreciate you, everything you've done. Obviously, hell of a talent. Gonna be a Hall of Famer one day. I mean, if he keep up with what he's doing, Kevin, as we talk about all the time. But we salty, man. And anybody that say you shouldn't be salty, you're not a real fan. I'm gonna tell you why. Because this stuff is rare. You don't come across guys. We had the best first baseman in baseball. And he left for essentially the same contract that we offered him. Essentially. It looks like more than what it actually is. And listen, we love it. Listen, we love you, Matt Olson, man. We ain't fit to throw you back, man. We got you for the next 8 years. What may happen, but Kevin, there's gonna be mixed review. It's gonna get the tissues ready pregame. I get it. Dansby Swanson, they might have to tell Dansby, well, you got on a Dodger jersey, you got to put on the Brave jersey. I get you, love him. But after that, Kevin, I mean, listen, once he go out there at bat, man, we trying to get that dub. He obviously gonna do his tribute. He gonna get his ring. He gonna take his picture. But I don't think he's going to get the Jock Peterson reception, not because we don't appreciate Freddie Free, but because of how it all ended. Kevin, back in the day, when we was young boys, your first relationship you ever had, it didn't end well. Why? Because somebody wanted to stay and somebody wanted to get the hell on. Hopefully you wanted to be the one to get the hell on, and that's what it was. Maybe we wanted him to stay, he wanted to leave. Hey, man, now we got to meet each other at our home place. Hopefully we sweep these boys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure they'll have the nice tribute video to Freddie Free that'll play. I think they did one for Kinley in LA where they did kind of a 3-4 minute video of Kenley Jansen coming back to LA. I'm sure the Braves will do something very similar, give him his ring. And again, at the end of the day, as I've said a number of times, he did what you want your stars to do, and that is bring you a championship, and he did it. And I think at the end of the day, you got to be happy about that. You can be upset that he left. And again, I think you've had plenty of time to get over it. But he did what you asked stars to do. What we asked stars to do. Bring us a championship. If you can stay your whole career, great. I think it's just how it is. If you stay your whole career, great. If not, you brought us a championship. And that's better than not winning a championship, obviously, at the end of the day. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Draft coverage coming up starting at 7 o'clock. Ben and I will be back with you tomorrow. It's 3 and Out all across the Southern Pigskin Radio Network.